Hello everyone. Today, I want to share with you 50 lessons from Stoicism. These lessons can change your life. It can challenge you, make you think again, and can make you uncomfortable. Don't worry, their purpose is to make you better, stronger. Let's get started. But before we start, by small and completely free actions, that is to subscribe to the channel and leave a comment. Every small action of yours is a great encouragement to me. That is the sincerity, kindness, and virtue and Stoicism it's taught. Don't hesitate to comment because that is your way of life. Let us know about your views, my friend. Dear friend, life is like a strict coach. It always gives challenges and lessons. You want to face it and choose difficult companion, people with whom you grow more mature when facing challenges together. It's how life guides you, strengthens you. One thing you have to realize is that you can't learn what you think you know. Your ego is your biggest enemy. When you think you know everything, you have no room to absorb new knowledge. Look at the people who came before you, famous people. Do you remember them now? They're like the people Beyoncé talked about. We're all slowly being forgotten. Perfection can paralyze you. As Winston Churchill said, you think you set high standards, but in reality, it's just an excuse to avoid the work you need to do. Stoicism teaches that we should prepare for the worst. Imagine every possible scenario: loss, betrayal, failure. We should contemplate all of it. Why dwell on the negative? Because the unexpected shocks are the most painful. A leader cannot say, "Oh, I don't think this will happen." They need to plan ahead. This is different from anxiety or panic. You need to think about it, plan for it, prepare for it. When you are prepared, you are not surprised. Change in life is inevitable. Everything is always changing. Marcus Aurelius reminds us that birth is a change and death is just another change. All the good things in your life come from constant change. Shocks, not anticipated, bring panic and a sense of helplessness. Leaders need to be forward-looking, always asking, what could happen next, and planning for contingencies. This does not mean living in fear or worrying about the future, but rather preparing for the unexpected, so that you can stand firm and act calmly and decisively when faced with difficulty. Life is a series of constant changes, and no one can escape it. Every stage in life, from birth to adulthood and finally death, is a transition. In fact, many of the good things we have come from the changes we have experienced. We can only accept change, not avoid it. A leader cannot say, "I didn't expect this to happen." They must think ahead about every situation and prepare for every possibility. This is not anxiety or fear, but readiness and anticipation. When you are prepared, nothing can surprise you. Imagine a famous artist who refuses to accept money from powerful people because he doesn't want to be controlled by them. When you can support yourself and meet your needs, you don't have to depend on others. This independence gives you true freedom. A friend of mine started from scratch. He did not accept financial help from his family or friends because he wanted to build everything himself. Through perseverance and constant effort, he achieved success. This shows that when you are independent and do not depend on others, you can master your life. In life, everything can become very extraordinary and meaningful in an unexpected way. A famous writer once said that a leader's ambition is smaller than the world, and the world is big enough to contain him, but in the end, even a coffin cannot contain him. Another philosopher has a similar view about powerful people. You know, they and ordinary people all live and achieve extraordinary things in their lives. It is foolish to let others decide whether you have done well or not, whether you are happy or not, or whether you are successful or not. A philosopher once said that ambition is when your happiness is tied to what other people do, say, and think. On the other hand, wisdom is when your happiness is tied to your own actions. When I practice Stoicism, I make decisions for myself, and whether others approve or not is completely out of my control. Though success for me is something that comes from within, I focus on what I can control. You know, success is not instantaneous, but often requires a long process. Although you may have predicted and calculated in advance, it always takes longer than you think. My big projects, such as those that took years to complete, have proven that to achieve success, you need a lot of effort and perseverance. This means you have to invest a lot of time and effort than expected. While you may feel like you deserve to achieve results now, the reality is that to reach success, you will have to be patient and prepare for a much longer journey than you initially thought. Marcus Aurelius has a passage in his notebook where he is trying to motivate himself to get out of bed in the morning. He describes how, lying under the warm covers, he feels very comfortable and pleasant, feeling that anyone can understand and love. But then he also reminds himself that the purpose of life is not to enjoy comfort forever. Humans are not created to just curl up under the covers and enjoy the endless warmth without doing anything. Marcus Aurelius points out that people who are truly passionate about their work and even exhaust themselves with their dedication and relentless effort. He also notes that in life, there is always a certain limit to eating, sleeping, and playing. What is more important is that you have to step out of your comfort zone, face the outside world, and take on the tasks and responsibilities that your human nature requires. Marcus Aurelius emphasizes that you must understand that life will never be easy. It will bring you many challenges, and it will take a lot of your effort, time, and energy. However, it is in those difficulties that you will truly find the meaning of life and your true worth. Epictetus reminds us that if you feel offended, it is your fault. You actively participated in being offended. When someone says something unpleasant, the comment is objective in nature. The problem is, you decided that it hurts you. You decided that you were hurt by it. But that is not the case. Others cannot really hurt you. You participate in being offended. You allow it to happen. Epictetus advises that you should just mind your own business. Don't let outside talk affect you. Focus on your tasks and responsibilities. Keep your spirits up. Don't let negativity overwhelm you. Control your emotions and reactions. Only you can decide not to let outside things affect you. Keep your cool. Focus on your goals. Don't let comments distract you. Stand your ground. Keep moving forward. Be strong and decisive. Marcus Aurelius reminds us that we should stop trying to avoid the mistakes of others and try to avoid our own mistakes. Marcus says that most of what you do is completely unnecessary. The question we have to ask ourselves, is this necessary? A lot of things are trivial, unnecessary, ineffective. When you eliminate the unnecessary, you get the double benefit of doing the necessary things better. Joy comes and goes quickly. Shame remains. That is the harsh truth of Stoicism. But there's a positive side. The opposite is also true. When you work hard at something, when you put your heart into it, pride arises. Virtue emerges. Good things endure. They do not disappear. Poverty is not just having too little. Seneca said, just because you have money does not mean you are rich. Poverty is when you always want more. You can be very rich, you can be very successful. But if you never have enough, if you always crave more, you are very poor, really poor. Insatiable ambition, unrelenting hope. This is real poverty. It is not about money. It is about spirit. Reading a book once is not enough. You have to read it again. Seneca says we should linger on the works of the masters, read them again and again. Each time we read, we find something new. We bring something new, and we take something new away. Each time we read, it is a different experience. Perhaps you should keep quiet. Zeno said it was better to stumble with your feet than with your tongue. He spoke only when he was sure, certain that what he was about to say could not be ignored. Many of the things we say are unnecessary. They are unimportant. They are trivial. They are not timely. They may not be correct. So stop. Before you speak, ask yourself, is this necessary? Think before you speak. Silence is golden. Sometimes keeping quiet is the best option. Be thoughtful. Be careful. Words spoken cannot be taken back. So be careful with your words. Hold back unnecessary words. Speak only when necessary. Silence can be more valuable. How you perceive the situation is what really matters. Stoicism teaches that events are objective. They don't concern us. It's how we judge and respond that really matters. This comment doesn't hurt you. You decide that it hurts you. That's your choice. How you perceive the situation is what really matters. Stoicism says that events are objective. They don't concern us. It's how we judge and respond that matters. If you feel offended, it's because you choose to feel that way. Don't waste your time. Don't argue about what a good person is. Live by your values. Epictetus emphasizes that if you're offended, because you allow it to be. Focus on your work. Don't let the outside world get to you. Control your emotions. Only you can decide that. Another Stoic philosopher said that true wealth is not about having much, but about wanting little. If you can feel satisfied with what you have, you are rich. Instead of chasing things beyond your control, want less. That is true wealth. Actions matter, not words. Work. Live up to your values. Don't waste time on meaningless arguments. Be a good person through your actions. Stoicism wants you to understand and act on this. Want less. Find fulfillment in simple things. When you don't need anything from anyone or anything beyond your control, that is true wealth. That is the path to wealth. Not by having more, but by wanting less. The Greek philosopher once emphasized that it is better to stumble on painful feet than to say unnecessary words. Only speak when your heart and mind agree that it is really indispensable. There are so many things we say every day that are unnecessary, meaningless, and possibly wrong. So stop before you speak and ask yourself, is this really necessary? The event itself is not the problem. It is your opinion about it that matters. The ancients used to say that events are objective and indifferent to us, but it is our thoughts and feelings about them that make them important. Do not waste your precious time in meaningless arguments. Do the right thing. Be a good person by your own action. Epicurus, one of the most influential philosophers in the history of human thought, emphasized that wealth is not defined by the amount of possessions a person possesses, but by the ability to limit desires. In his view, when an individual has enough of what is necessary and feels satisfied with what he has achieved true wealth. This implies that contentment and happiness can be achieved even if a person owns very little, as long as he does not crave for things beyond his control. This philosophy reflects a profound idea of self-reliance and inner strength, emphasizing that when a person is no longer dominated by unnecessary desires, he will achieve a state of true peace and wealth. Marcus Aurelius, one of the great emperors and philosophers of ancient Rome, advised that when we do good to others, the value of the act lies in its accomplishment, not in the recognition or gratitude from the recipient. According to him, doing good should come from the desire to become better and contribute to making society a better place. This view emphasizes the value of self-reliance and personal responsibility in building a good society, while eliminating the need for external validation. Grudges, according to ancient philosophers, are a meaningless and useless emotion. They reason that those who hold grudges and anger will eventually be forgotten, and these negative emotions do not bring any positive results. This view emphasized that no matter what the cause of the discomfort is, it will eventually disappear along with the existence of humans. Therefore, letting go of grudges and moving forward is essential to avoid being consumed by negative emotions. This philosophy encourages the search for serenity and focusing on the positive values in life. Epicurus, one of the most influential ancient philosophers, emphasized that being prepared to face any situation is the core of philosophy. He argued that a person must be ready to face any situation, whether big or small, positive or negative. This is the purpose of philosophical training, to apply the knowledge and skills learned to real life. This is the essence of the entire process of learning and training in philosophy. Self-discipline, according to Marcus Aurelius, is not a tool to impose on others, but to apply to oneself. He advised that one should be tolerant of others, but strict with oneself. The standards and beliefs that an individual sets for himself should be used for self-evaluation and self-improvement, not for judging or forcing others to follow. Seneca, another famous philosopher, argued that we are all slaves to something. A powerful person may be a slave to his mistress. A politician may be controlled by his ambition for the crowd. Perhaps you are a slave to money, food, or wine. Even slave owners are slaves to their estates. Therefore, we should be careful and aware of any habits, customs, or objects that may have power over us. As for maintaining independence of mind, philosophers argue that if you aspire to fit in with the crowd, you have already given up on being a philosopher. Having controversial opinions is not a problem. In fact, you should think for yourself, not follow the crowd, not blindly accept the thoughts of others. Independent thinking is the foundation of philosophy, and maintaining this independence is important for personal and intellectual growth. The Stoics believed that obstacles are the right path. They believe that what hinders us is also an opportunity for us to grow and develop. Facing these challenges allows us to act with courage, discipline, justice, or wisdom. This gives us the opportunity to do things that we might not have been able to do before. Seneca raised an interesting point about the human response to the world. We can laugh or cry. Another philosopher chose to cry because of the badness and evil of the world. However, Heraclitus chose to laugh. Contrary to popular belief that Stoics lack a sense of humor, they actually laugh at the absurdity of life. They laugh at the pain and challenges that life presents because they understand that it is an inevitable part of human existence. Problem with success begins with its definition. Without knowing what we are aiming for, no wind will be favorable. We cannot control the events that happen to us, other people, the weather, or the world. However, we have control over how we react to them. Clearly defining our goals and defining success is the first and most important step on the road to achieving it. Marcus Aurelius reminds us that people in the future will not suddenly become better or smarter. They will still have the same weaknesses and shortcomings as they do now. Therefore, pursuing fame is pointless. Instead, we should focus on the present, taking advantage of the time and opportunities to do what we can do right now. This is profound advice for living a meaningful life and making the most of our abilities in the present context. Extensive reading is a must. An individual needs to read widely, both those that they agree with and those that they disagree with. Understanding is not limited to literacy, but requires a deep and comprehensive understanding of the world around them. One needs to be knowledgeable about what they do and have a thorough understanding of life both inside and out. Marcus Aurelius wrote that we should not expect an ideal world or perfect people. Instead, we should work with others to solve imperfect problems with imperfect solutions. Life is short and fragile. We can leave life at any time. This should guide our actions, words, and thoughts. The reality is that we will leave life at some point, and that moment may come very soon. The people we meet in life are not always pleasant. They can be jealous, unpleasant, difficult, and ignorant. This is something we need to be aware of. When we start each day, we need to go in with our eyes wide open. However, these people cannot change our nature. We are made to work together, and life would not be complete without them. We have a bond and share empathy with each other. Marcus Aurelius also emphasized that if you feel offended, it is because you have participated in the feeling of being offended. Others cannot hurt you unless you allow them to. Therefore, we need to focus on our own work and not let the actions of others affect us. Hatred, according to the ancient philosophers, is a meaningless emotion and does not bring long-term benefit. When we look at those who held grudges, the question is, where are they now? Most of them have passed away and are no longer around. Grudges do not bring any positive results, and the same is true for personal grudges. Whatever the cause of your discomfort, no matter how important it may seem, will eventually disappear along with your existence. Everyone's life is shaped by their own thoughts. If an individual only sees negative things, their life will be filled with negativity. Similarly, if a person constantly complains, the world will see them through that lens. Changing the way you see yourself can lead to positive changes in your life. It is important to remember that we cannot control other people or external events. We can only control how we react to those situations. Live well, do your job, and play your role in society. And so we have talked about the 50 habits of Stoicism. I hope you will apply it and write it down in your diary every morning. I really want to take a moment to express my deep gratitude to all of you for your amazing support and encouragement. Your continuous help has made me feel truly grateful and motivated every day. I cannot express enough how important your support has been to me, and it has helped me overcome many difficulties. I really appreciate and am grateful that you have always been loyal and amazing viewers. Thank you all for always being there for me and cheering me on endlessly.